Tonight we have four guests. They're going to introduce themselves.
Good night, Juan Camilo. My name is Sebastián Pinilla. I study history at Rosario University in Bogota, Colombia, and thank you very much for the invitation.
Okay, nice to meet you, Camilo. Thank you very much for this invitation. I'm Nicolás Gomez. I'm journalist from the University of La Sabana.
Hi Camilo, thank you for this invitation. I am a student of Oxford University. I am internationalist and my name is Javier Lopez.
Hi Camilo, it's a pleasure to be here tonight. My name is Alonso Marugo. I'm from Harvard University and I'm internationalist.
Okay, it's a pleasure to have you here. We're going to talk about tonight the Korean War, but let's start with a little history. Sebastián.
Okay, Juan Camilo. Before the Second World War, the Korean Peninsula was dominated by the Japanese Empire. As we already know, the Japanese Empire was defeated in the Second World War in the year of 1945. After this event, the most powerful countries take the decision to divide the peninsula into two parts. The north part was dominated by the Soviet Union and the south part was dominated by the United States of America. Some years later, in 1950, North Korea takes the decision to attack South Korea in an opportunity to unify the peninsula in terms of a communist government. The war starts and this is like a brief summary of the Korean War.
Okay, thank you. With that being said, let's start talking about the war. What do you think about it?
I wanna talk about it. I know with my own experience, I was in the war in Iraq. I'm a journalist with years of experience in the subject. I can say the war doesn't solve anything.
Okay.
Okay Camilo, for me, like realist, the war should be avoided, but it's a part very important of the humanism.
Okay, Alonso, do you have anything to say?
I think that the war could be avoided if we unify the countries for the same objective, like finish all the wars in the world.
Okay, now entering more. What do you think about why the Japanese Empire ends?
Camilo, as I have already said, the Japanese Empire was defeated in the Second World War. After this war, the Japanese Empire was very weak, and it was impossible to control its territories around the world. In this case, Korea. If we analyze the theory of Ratzel of the weak nucleus, we can see that this is a very good example that occurred with Japan and the peninsula of Korea, because once the Japanese Empire was defeated in the Second World War, it was impossible to control its territories, and it happens what I had already explained, that is that the Korean Peninsula was divided by the most two powerful countries in the world.
Thank you, Sebastian. Now, talking about Truman, what do you think about the decision of entering into the war?
Okay Camilo, the United States wanted the strategic point in that is Korea. According with Mackinder, that the theory is the heartland. If you dominate Eurasia, you can dominate the world.
I think that the strategy that used Truman to ask for permission to the United Nations to call his allies to finish the war in Korea was fantastic.
Okay, anyone have anything to say?
Okay, Juan Camilo, I have something to say. I am not familiarized with the liberal position of Alonso and with the realist position of Javier, but if we analyze the historic facts, we can confirm that the participation of the United States in the Korean War and the position of President Truman was basically the opportunity to stop the communist expansion around the world, in this case of Korea, mainly in Asia.
Okay, now talking about the United Nations. What do you think about the performance that they make in this war?
Okay, the intervention of United Nations was searching to protect the United States. Why? Because United States is the leader of United Nations.
Okay.
I think that United Nations were searching the peace in the world. When United States asked for call his allies was to unify military forces and to stop the advance of North Korea to make all Korea communist.
Okay, for the last, do you have anything to say to conclude this?
Yeah, and I went to the South Korea to visit the monument in the memory of Colombian soldiers that fought this war, and I can confirm that this is a prosperous country that have a great await.
Okay, anything?
Okay, for me, that war was very important because the United States prevent the expansionism of the USSR or communism in plural.
Okay.
And I have another conclusion to this debate. I can say that the Korean War, and if we analyze historic facts and the actuality, Korea is a great country that suffered a lot with this war, but after this country have a great capability to come great again. And as we can see today, Korea is one of the most powerful countries. The north part in military aspects and the south part in terms of economy and social things.
Okay, thank you all for being here. Thank you, audience, for seeing us. We hope you to see you in the next show. To the next.